You'd be forgiven for thinking that this is a completely new Hyundai Santa Fe, but it's actually not. It's still part of the fourth generation that was introduced back in 2019. Of course, since then it's had quite a few updates, but new for 2022 is the addition of a plug-in hybrid powertrain. So how good is it? Let's go for a drive and find out. So with the Hyundai Santa Fe, you have four powertrain options. There's a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter four-cylinder, a turbocharged version of that 2.5 liter engine. There's a traditional hybrid powertrain with a 1.6 liter turbo four-cylinder engine, or a plug-in hybrid powertrain with that same 1.6 liter engine. Under the hood of this Santa Fe is the plug-in hybrid powertrain, and the 1.6 liter engine on its own produces 178 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. There's an electric motor that produces 90 horsepower and 224 pound-feet of torque. And finally, the total system output is 260 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. I really hope you got all that, because I don't think I can say it again. To put it all into context, the Toyota RAV4 Prime has about 300 horsepower, and the 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid has about 237 horsepower, if I remember correctly. So this Hyundai Santa Fe plug-in hybrid is right in the middle of those. Despite this Santa Fe weighing about 2 tons, it's actually pretty sprightly off the line. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour takes roughly 9 seconds, so it's not exactly a super SUV or even a sports SUV. But that's fine, because that's not what the Santa Fe is meant for. This is meant for just driving around the city and being honestly stuck in gridlock traffic. It's actually really good at that. Not that you actually want to be in gridlock traffic, but that's what really this was meant for. It's a commuter family SUV. However, this isn't the most sophisticated plug-in hybrid powertrain. Actually, no, sophisticated is the wrong word. It doesn't give you quite as much control as other plug-in hybrid powertrains. So firstly, this does not have a battery charge hold mode. So in that case, you would just push a button and it would hold the battery charge for when you're driving on a highway, for example. So you drive only on the gasoline engine. And then when you arrive at your destination, you can just use the battery charge to power the SUV. But this doesn't have it. Instead, you have to rely on the hybrid mode. But in that mode, while on highways it does run primarily on the gasoline engine, at times it will actually run on electricity. My other complaints about this plug-in hybrid powertrain is the fact that in order to heat up the cabin or cool it down in the summer, or to defog or defrost the windshield, the engine must turn on. You can't just leave it in electricity mode and turn on the climate control. The engine will turn on, especially on cold starts. Once the cabin is warmed up or cooled down, then the engine will shut off and you can drive on electricity. But periodically, it will still turn on to provide heat or cooling. Other plug-in hybrid powertrains don't have this issue. You can leave it in electric-only mode and still use the climate control with others, but not with this Santa Fe. As a result of these two drawbacks, I only managed a fuel economy rating of 3.6 liters per 100 kilometers. Still very good, no doubts there. But it could have been better, as my commute is less than 10 kilometers each way to work. But the engine needed to turn on to defog the front windshield in the cold and rainy mornings. Officially, the Santa Fe is rated for 3.1 liters equivalent per 100 kilometers on a combined cycle when using the gasoline and electric motors. And speaking of electricity, the SUV has a 13.8 kilowatt-hour battery that can hold enough juice for a claimed range of 50 kilometers. That's about 31 miles. That's actually quite a bit for a plug-in hybrid and should satisfy most people's needs for daily commutes. When the battery is depleted, it drives like a normal hybrid vehicle. Charging the Santa Fe will take approximately 14 hours from a regular wall outlet and up to 4 hours from a level 2 charger, depending on the power of that charger. While most other plug-in hybrids have CVT automatics, the Santa Fe actually has a 6-speed automatic. So that gives you a slightly better driving experience. So there's no elastic band feeling that you would get with a CVT, or at least the older CVTs. The newer ones, admittedly, are actually pretty good. But it just feels a tiny bit more engaging to drive. As for driving around twists and turns, this is not meant to be a sporty SUV. So steering, yeah, it's precise, but it's also quite light, which actually makes it very easy to drive around the city when you're, again, in gridlock traffic like how I am right now. The 2022 Santa Fe PHEV comes standard with all-wheel drive. It is a mechanical all-wheel drive system rather than an all-wheel drive system like how you would find in the Toyota Sienna. In most driving situations, the engine's and electric motor's power is sent to just the front wheels, with power being set to the back wheels under less ideal driving conditions. There are also 3 off-road modes to choose from depending on the terrain: sand, mud, and snow. The Santa Fe is a comfortable vehicle. The suspension is supple and provides a smooth ride whether on city streets or boring long highways. The front and rear seats have soft cushions, with the fronts offering enough adjustability regardless of your height. When on the move, the transition from the electric motors to the gasoline engine is pretty much imperceivable, and the engine itself is quiet. So long as you don't smash the throttle pedal. Then, of course, it becomes a noisy little bugger. On highways, there is some road noise intruding into the cabin from the tires, as well as a bit of wind noise from around the mirrors, but neither are loud enough to ruin your day. Inside the Hyundai Santa Fe, it is a very spacious SUV. I'm 6'4", and as you can see, I have absolutely no issues with legroom. Headroom is a similar story, no issues whatsoever. The interior design has been changed since its introduction in 2019 for this 4th generation Santa Fe, that is. And I have to say, it looks really nice, and they've kept the physical buttons in the Santa Fe, which I really like. In front of me is a full digital display that has really crisp graphics. The infotainment system is still the older infotainment system, it's not the newer one. If you're watching this in the United States, then you can get the plug-in hybrid with the new 10.25-inch touchscreen with Hyundai's latest infotainment system. Here in Canada, unfortunately, we cannot get the plug-in hybrid with that infotainment system. You can only get it on the top spec trim, but that one does not have the plug-in hybrid powertrain available. This system, though, it does work, and it also has wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, so at least that's something. My only small complaint about this interior is with the armrest on the door. It's really hard. It has pretty much no padding whatsoever. So on longer journeys, actually even after half an hour, my elbow really started to hurt. In the back seats, there is still a lot of space for someone of my height, even sitting behind my own driving position. As you can see, legroom, not a problem whatsoever. Headroom is also pretty good. My hair is just barely brushing up against the headliner, but it's not an issue whatsoever. These seats, they do slide forwards and backwards, and they also recline. And another really great thing about the back of the Hyundai Santa Fe is it has a completely flat floor. So anybody who's sitting in the center, they don't have to spread their legs, you know, eagle style. Behind the seats, the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe PHEV has 1,032 liters of cargo capacity. The great thing is that this is the exact same amount of space as the non-hybrid variant of the Santa Fe. Fold those rear seats down with a couple of buttons in the trunk and the cargo capacity increases to 2,041 liters. In Canada and the United States, the plug-in hybrid version of the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe is only available on 2 trim levels. But those trim levels differ between the 2 countries. In Canada, it is available as the preferred and luxury trims. In the United States, they're the SEL Convenience and Limited trims. The SEL Convenience and Preferred are essentially the same trim, which starts at $45,000 Canadian. The luxury trim in Canada costs $48,500 Canadian. However, the limited trim in the United States has more features, but it'll cost you $45,360 American. Of course, the PHEV variant of the Hyundai Santa Fe is eligible for government rebates. Check your local dealership for details. This particular demo vehicle is the luxury trim, and it comes equipped with the usual gadgets like heated seats, leather upholstery, sunroof, power liftgate, and so on. But the limited trim in the United States is available with a few more features. It has a larger 10.25-inch touchscreen with the latest Hyundai infotainment system, surround view cameras, remote smart parking, and highway driving assist. If you want those features on your Santa Fe here in Canada, you have to move up to the Ultimate Calligraphy trim, but it's not available with the plug-in hybrid powertrain, only the 2.5 turbo engine. So I'm going to end this video in here because it started raining a lot more outside and my camera started getting wet, and I don't want to have any water damage because it cost me quite a bit. At least to me it was quite a bit. Anyway, the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe is a great SUV. It's spacious, it's comfortable, it can be equipped with a lot of tech, it's very unique looking, which I actually do like this time, and it's good value for your money. However, it's not really a great PHEV. Like I said in the video, it's missing the battery charge hold mode, and the engine has to turn on to provide heating for the cabin or cooling during the summer months. Other PHEVs don't have this issue. So until Hyundai's engineers make it so that you can hold the battery charge whenever you want to, and the heating and the cooling can be done without having to turn on the engine, then this isn't a great PHEV. It's a good PHEV, but not a great one. However, as an all-round SUV, minus the PHEV part, this new 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe is fantastic and I highly recommend it. If you want to know more about this 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe, I wrote a more detailed review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck, or most likely it'll probably be another SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.